I remember when I started dating guys, I took guys around my mother thinking she was unexpected. And my mother pulled me in the room and she said, my mama a preacher. My mama a preacher, she put me in the room, she said, listen here. I done met too many people. Now you sit down and get one. I'm like, one what? One man, son. One man. And I'm like, what the hell? Did my mama, the preacher, the pastor just tell me to sit down and get you one? And I was like, oh, it's too many for one, so I tried. It didn't work out. The next concern I had though, about I don't know if I can call it coming out or coming clear. Got the kids to the table, actually with the person I was seeing at the time, and I said, I need to tell y'all something, kids. And so my daughter, who's the youngest, she was about 4, and of course I had sons who are 5 or 6 years older than her. So I'm sitting there and I have a conversation. We start talking, and I said, so Dad is same-gender living. Dad is in relationship with a man. They'd already figured it out because, the person I was dating at the time was in close proximity. My oldest son was like, yeah, Dad, we know. That's cool. My youngest son, would as he giggled, he was like, yeah, Dad, I know, we figured it out, and I'm not kissing no man, just so you'll know. You have to know my baby boy. Like, yeah, you have to know my baby boy. My daughter said something that brings me to tears even at this moment, and that I've been writing actually a book about. My daughter, stood up. The table is large chair, benches on the side, very luxury driven because I like stuff like that, right? My daughter stands up on the bench. She's 4 years old. She grabs a fried chicken leg like it's a microphone. She points it at me and she said, I just want to know if you still gonna be my daddy. And I had to stop. I said, what? And she said, I just want to know. And she put her hands on her hip like only a little black girl can. And she said, I just want to know if you still gonna be my daddy. And all I had to say to my children at that moment was that no matter what, I'm on your side and I'm your daddy. Gonna always be your daddy. And when I answered that question, my daughter sat back down with her chicken, went back to eating her food. My son started laughing, and my daughter said, okay, that's fine. And I think sometimes kids just want to know if you're still going to be who you've always been to them. And my daughter is now married with her own family, and my sons are, everybody's heading towards 30 strong. And all I know is that despite how society tries to paint it, that hasn't been my children's experience. They are stable, professional, young, black children to me. And as far as I know, I'm going to always be their dad. So many times I'm asked about my journey and how I reconcile my faith and my sexuality. And one of the things I try to express to people is that God is not at war between my faith and my sexuality. That much of the war that exists in that space is definitely man-made. We do lead, probably in Alabama, the only inclusive church, naming it and saying it out loud that we are inclusive of our LGBTQIA family. We take inclusion even farther. We are inclusive of the one woman who has 3 baby daddies. We are inclusive of former felons, current felons, ex-felons, ex-offenders. We are inclusive of present alcoholics. We're inclusive of those who have been delivered. So inclusion in our church is not just entangled, so to speak, around LGBTQIA. It is to say that because God has rescued me, this is a safe place for all people who need a community. And so this is Birmingham, Alabama. It's the Deep South. So this is a very interesting question. I do not have horror stories concerning my relationships with other non-affirming black pastors and clergy. I think part of that is that it's been 42 years of preaching, and many of my friendships here in Birmingham span that length of preaching. So I don't have that issue. Like when I'm at church, it's like, we're so glad to have Dr. Harris here. We're so glad to have Pastor Harris here. He used to preach for us when he was a little boy. And they're well aware of where I stand now theologically. So how do I get along with them? I don't think my friends, or I'm not a friend that would turn his back on a friend because of the difference of belief. So when I look at it, they're just my friends who've been around through thick and thin. Some of them are literally Nicodemus who come to Jesus by night to understand. So I still have my preacher friends that I've had the whole time. When they run into me, it's what up, Harris? And it is so funny, that they make fun saying, man, you done gone and you done got married to a same sex and da 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 da. And we laugh, and then we have our shots and our cigars. So I don't have a testimony of relationships lost through my preachers. I really don't. Now, I reject going to preach for them because I know what I believe, and you can find out what I believe with a Google or YouTube. So to protect my friends, I say no many times, to their shock. Because I tell them, I'm not going to set you up for a discussion in your church you're not ready to have. And so I'm grateful for my friends, my preacher friends in Birmingham, Alabama. I'm grateful. I haven't seen them turn their back on me. I don't have that experience. Unless they wear masks.